Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, and you're sitting in Kana's Corner. And I have a very special guest sitting in Kana's Corner, and you have all been waiting for it, and here she is! Megan! Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. That was a very exciting introduction. I hope I live up to it.
Oh, I'm sure you will. At least it's not a boxing ring introduction, because I don't think we're ready for that.
Okay. Not yet.
Now, we weren't able to have you on for Pokemon Week, but we still want to know about your experience on the show. How did you initially start with the series?
Well, Pokemon was my first voiceover job ever. I just feel really blessed, like a whole series of almost random events led up to it. I was living in New York, being a struggling actress, emphasis on struggling. I had a day job, but at night I did as much theater as I could do, usually for no pay. And the great thing about that was that, you know, I got to work on my craft as an actor and meet a ton of people. And one of the people I met, asked me kind of out of the blue, do you do voiceovers? And I'm always up for anything. So I just said yes. And I assumed she meant like commercials, you know, so I practiced, you know, how I would read a shampoo commercial or how I would read a car commercial. And I went in for this audition, and I was completely confused and out of my element. There was copy, copy is like a piece from the script that you audition with. There was copy for all of the major characters in Pokemon, and I was in the booth with Michael, who was the Pokemon director, and I swear he gave me a crash course in voiceover for anime in that one audition. He said, do you have a little boy voice? And I looked at him with terror, and he explained to me how I could sort of manipulate my voice to sound more like a little boy. He just gave me great ideas for all the characters, and I had so much fun. And I thought, oh boy, I really nailed that. I'm going to get one of those. And then I didn't hear anything for like 2 months. And I thought, oh boy, I guess I didn't do so hot.
Aww.
It was a bummer. And then they called and said, we're going to offer you the role of the nurse. And, it paid what was to me then like a fortune. I couldn't believe anybody would pay me to act, and much less that much. And yeah, so that's when I started. And I remember telling people I was in this Japanese show called Pokemon, and they were like, yeah, weird, never heard of it. Okay, have fun. And then so I, along with friends and family and a lot of people in this country, watched it explode into the Pokemon phenomenon.
You must be able to sort of brag about that, considering the fact that it was very, you know, oh, nobody knows what this is. Oh my God, every kid knows what Pokemon is now.
I don't know about bragging. It definitely made it like easier to audition for, because there wasn't pressure. Like now, you know, I often know the difference in auditions, whether it's just, you know, something that might go straight to video or whether it's like a brand new cartoon on Disney. And there's definitely more pressure when it's a new cartoon, you know, it's, you know the difference now. I'm not so naive as I once was.
Was the popularity kind of shocking to you when it finally did hit all the voice actors and the people involved with the show? Yeah,
it was totally shocking. And I still laugh about it because I didn't know what it was at all when I first began working on it. So the fact that it became a national, well, I mean, just speaking from the U.S. point of view, obviously it was already a phenomenon in Japan, but the fact that it became a U.S. phenomenon just blew me away. And it just made me smile. And granted, like I never made enough off Pokemon to quit my day job. I still had a day job this whole time. And so for me, it was just like having this really cool secret. And like some people got it and some people didn't. Usually if I ran into people who had kids, they were really, really impressed that I was on Pokemon. But if I was then, you know, in my late 20s, early 30s, if I met a lot of people my own age, I was like, yeah, I do Pokemon. They would just sort of stare at me blankly. So it definitely had a specific group who knew and cared about it.
Well, at the same time, though, you got a chance to be other main characters as well, not just Nurse Joy, due to the fact that perhaps they more or less recycled voice actors?
Yeah, totally. It's true, and I got to be a utility player there. You know, they would bring me in for whatever they had to get done that day, and that was really flattering. Like, it was always scary, you know, to look at a new character for the very first time in the booth, knowing that they expected me to be able to deliver something different. But what fun, and what a gift that was.
Oh, definitely. And you really stuck with it to hear that, you know, you still had the day job, but you were still like, no, I'll do voice acting too. I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. I was blessed with a boss who was very flexible with my time. So, yeah. Yeah. I had to. There was no surviving on what I was making then, especially I was living in New York, which is the most ridiculously expensive city. Yeah, I did what I had to do, and my dream was to be able to quit my day job, which I finally did about, I don't know, maybe six years after Pokemon hit. I was able to make the transition into just doing voiceover work. That's
still a huge thing to do right there, so congratulations. It's a little delayed, but
congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating that, because it really, it was. It took a heck of a lot of work.
I kind of know. I'm kind of in those shoes from your past in a little bit. Not with voice acting particularly, but with this radio junk. So I know a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You get it. Like you have to put bread on the table, and you have to follow your vision at the same time.
And now, since Pokemon, what have you been doing recently?
Recently, I've been working on Naruto. I voiced Shizune in Naruto. Which is directed by Mary Elizabeth, who is just one of the coolest people to work with ever. She's so smart. She could voice every character in that show if she so chose. And I work on Bleach. I'm Rangiku Matsumoto in Bleach, directed by an equally amazing director, Wendy Lee. So those are the only two anime things I'm doing. The only two series I'm doing right now, and I love them both. And again, the writing's good, the shows are entertaining, but I love those two directors.
That's great too, because those are two huge franchises, so you get that call quite frequently. Hey, we got another game, we got another movie.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's been nice. It's been very nice.
Now, is there a character between the two that you prefer?
I like them both to watch. To perform, it's always more fun to do the bigger, broader characters. And Rangiku is definitely bigger and broader, bigger busted, and sillier. She gets to do more silly things. I always like the silly things. I guess all of us actors do. So yeah, I'd have to go with big busted Rangiku.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, and you get to do sort of all the fighting scenes too. That must also be very entertaining for you.
Yeah, fighting scenes are fun. They're not easy, but what's great about them is that you have to use your whole mind and body to get it right, to get the timing right, to get the sounds right, and in that sense, it's almost like you get to just drop everything else and be in the moment. It's almost meditative. It's pretty great.
Well, that sounds really cool. And we're going to take a short break here on 91.8 The Fan, but stay tuned. We've got more interview goodness only on your favorite station. And we're off for a short break.
All right.
91.8thefan.com. Have you logged on today?
Who, me? No. No?
iStock's daily news show, video reviews, articles, forums, and an anime directory. Don't get left behind. Log in today. Only on
918thefan.com?
918thefan.com.
All right, 918thefan.com.
Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, and we've sort of expanded here in this interview in the corner. We have Megan still, don't worry, but we also have Kerbifer.
Hey everybody, I'm back again. I'm sure you're sick of me after the third time.
No, we're not sick of you, yes. Yet being the key.
I just had a few words to say, and I'll let you guys get back to this amazing interview. But Megan, my name is Chris, and I have, as I've just learned 5 seconds ago, I too got my first professional role on Pokemon, just as you did. I'm very new to the show. I was just on it a couple months ago.
Fantastic! Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you so much. I worked with Tom Wayland and Lisa Ortiz and the usual group on it, in the new production now. But I just wanted to say that I absolutely adore your work, and I miss hearing you in the usual New York talent pool and whatnot. I loved all of your characters and whatnot.
You're so sweet. That's really sweet.
No, seriously. I really thought that, like, between everybody on Pokemon, Mai on Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently, I know you guys haven't touched on that yet. All of that stuff, I thought you and like Veronica and everybody brought absolute, genuine, amazing performances to everything. And I'm glad to see that you're part of Pokemon Week 2 on 918. And yeah, so thanks very much, and I'm glad to still hear you and all the new stuff in LA as well. It's been really cool.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a ton to me. I really, really appreciate that. So tell me, what did you do? What was your role?
Oh, I played this little 5-episode guest character on the show recently. He was there promoting the new video game that just came out a couple weekends ago. So he was kind of a walking, talking advertisement. But I grew up with the show for 10 years, listening to you guys and all the original cast and everything. And Pokemon means the absolute world to me. And being part of it was a huge honor. And I was so glad for the opportunity from the people working on it now.
That's so cool.
So, but yeah, no, and I'm like I said before, I'm glad to still hear you getting work up there and everything. And I look forward to hearing more. So
great. Well, thank you so much. Thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks you guys for letting me come in, and I'm gonna listen on the sidelines now. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, Kerbifer.
See ya. And
now that has probably been one of our sweetest moments on 91.8 Fan. We've made history.
Aww. Happy I could be a part of that. Very cool.
And he actually brought up a good point. He brought up the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, and would you like to...
Oh yeah, that show.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit on your part in that show?
Sure. My Valentine was just such a blast to do. Just, a smart alecky, arrogant princess. Heck yeah. Like, what a great role I got to sink my teeth into. The very first episode we did, Eric Stewart directed, and I remember the producers came back and said that I was way too bitchy and over the top. And Eric and I laughed because we were like, have you seen what she looks like? like really? So My Valentine is actually toned down from what we started with. But I actually do think that was the right choice. Like, it would have been crazy over the top if we'd kept going in that direction.
So you got to be a real diva and just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to be a real diva. The one funny thing that happened with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was, I didn't, Mai wasn't in every episode, so I didn't necessarily know what the storyline was that we were recording. I didn't get the scripts that I wasn't in. And then I was working maybe once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, something like that, but fairly regularly. And then all of a sudden they stopped calling. And, this company I'd been in a couple shows where I'd been let go from the shows, and no one ever called me to tell me. Like, it was just like, oh, someone else would be doing the role that I used to do. And so I really thought, oh, golly, I've been fired. I'm not Mai anymore. And then, and I was still working on Pokemon at the time and maybe another show or two. And so I was around, and finally I got up the courage to ask somebody what was going on. And they were like, no, Mai's in a coma. She's in a coma this whole season. So occasionally she breathes, but we usually get someone else to do that rather than bringing you in for 2 hours to take a breath.
That's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah. It's just funny how this whole business works.
You mean I can't be the breather? Really?
Yeah. I can breathe as good as anybody.
But that you were asked back in after she recovered from her coma, I'm hoping.
Yes. Well, you know what? It's actually a little fuzzy in my mind. I wonder if I bet you have Yu-Gi-Oh fans who probably remember this better than I do, because right about the time she was coming out of the coma, was when I decided to move to LA. And, I really fought for, the company to let me record from LA. At the time, Sam Riegel, who was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, had just moved to LA, and he was able to record from here. His situation was different because it was an original series, so it was easier for them to plug his voice in. But I really fought for it. You know, I was like, please, I can do this, and they just couldn't get through the logistics. So, so that was the time I even until like I was in LA, I really didn't believe they weren't going to let me do it. And, finally it sunk in that I wasn't going to be able to do, my Valentine anymore or Nurse Joy. Oh, it was very sad. It was very sad.
But naturally a lot of the work moved to Los Angeles from what I know, so it kind of was to help your career in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, there are other, sorry, my cat's starting to meow. She doesn't like when I talk to other people.
Oh, that's okay. I love her. I have a cat too. She's like lounging on my bed.
Aw, nice. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely other shows and other opportunities in LA, and what worked for me in LA was actually getting commercial work. So all in all, it was a really good move, but yeah, oh golly, so sad to leave the shows that had really helped me get into the business altogether and had provided so much fun and good times through the years.
Very awesome stuff, and I actually have a few fans nagging me. You're free to say no, but they were wondering if they'd be able to ask some questions over our chat, and we take a short break, give them a chance to ask some questions, and then you give the answers.
Sure. If that's okay with you, it's okay with me.
Oh, awesome stuff then. Then we will go to another short break. Apparently it's break day in Kana's Corner, but that's okay. We're having fun.
All good.
So stay tuned to 91.8 The Fan, everything you want, nothing you don't. If you want to see one of your questions on air, join our IRC chat. Just head on over to 918thefan.com/forums and click on IRC chat and join us. We're having a good old time. Little creepos in there too. So stay tuned.
Ever wonder what's going on in the anime world? Check out 918 The Fan every weekday for the newest iStock. We'll fill you in on everything you need to know in 3 minutes or less. Only on 918thefan.com.
Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan and you're sitting in Kana's Corner. And I have fan questions for a wonderful guest.
Yay, fan questions.
The first one I got was from our resident stalker, Eagle Eyes. His question was, from the characters you voice, you seem to be drawn to the strong-willed female. Is it a type of character you enjoy playing more than others, or is there a different type of characters you would like to play that you haven't really gotten a chance to work as?
Oh, that is a really good question. Yes, I love the strong women. And I think I have a certain facility with the strong women. Certainly, I wouldn't classify Nurse Joy as a weak woman, but she was definitely more like the girly type, which I don't usually get so much anymore. And that's kind of okay with me. I like the tough women. It lets me be pretty expressive. I'm kind of real nice in real life. And so
I can tell.
Thanks. And to be able to just get in the booth and let it rip is pretty joyful, and it's probably therapeutic too, but that's a whole other road to go down.
So it's probably the best anger management out there.
Exactly. In terms of characters that I don't get to voice too much, I don't know. I was recently struggling with my agent because she doesn't want to submit me for teenagers, And it was shocking to me. I was like, no, I'm so good at teenagers. I can do teenagers. And lately, I've come to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't do those so well anymore. So I'm working at finding like what I do best and honing in on that. Whereas in the past, I was always trying to prove to everybody how much range I had. And I think just from a business point of view, continuing to market myself as someone who has an easy time voicing strong women is a pretty good strategy.
Awesome stuff. And then I actually have a funny question from Little Karibo. He said, Nurse Joy has never fallen for Brock, but do you think you could fall for Eric Strott?
For who?
For Eric Strott, the
voice.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He's easy to fall for. He's dreamy.
Fun stuff. And then our last question we have was from Chaotic Legion. He said, hey Megan, how is it working on Code Geass?
Code Geass was a lot of fun. Code Geass was another one where, I didn't have access to the whole script, and Violetta came and went so quickly. So it was like I would come in and not know what universe I was in. It was so crazy, but fun. And Kevin, who directed, was always just so enthusiastic about explaining the world and catching me up and all that stuff. So I had a really good time working on it. And Violetta also got to be that rare diva who gets amnesia and suddenly is like nicey nice girly girl. And so, I got to do a lot with her, and that's always a blast.
Well, that sounds like fun. And would you like to tell our listeners out there any more upcoming projects that you have to plug?
Just keep watching Bleach, keep watching Naruto, keep listening to AT&T commercials. Thank you very much. And check out my website, meganhollingshead.com. Hopefully it's going to get a facelift in the next year. But in the meantime, there's a couple of clips there and a way to email me if you think of any more questions.
Awesome stuff. And before we let you go, I was wondering if you'd like to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Well, yeah, heck, who wouldn't? Yeah.
Wonderful. We do this on air in case there are any bloopers, but we were wondering if you could do a bump for us.
Do a what? A bump?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. We were wondering, some voice actors do it in a character voice, some just do it in their normal voice, whatever you would prefer. But we were wondering if you could say, my name is, I do this, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Awesome. Can I do it now?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
My name is Megan Hollingshead. I'm Nurse Joy from Pokemon, and I'm tuned in to 98.1 Oh, no, I'm not. Wait, can I start all over?
Yes, go ahead.
91.8, right?
91.8 The Fan, yeah.
Okay, take two. I'm Megan Hollingshead, Nurse Joy from Pokemon, and I'm tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
Yay, that was perfect.
Phew, I got so nervous. It was like work.
Well, we want you to have fun, so we're very happy that you could be here today, and I'm sure all your fans are ecstatic.
Oh, my pleasure. You guys are so sweet, and I'm so impressed with the work you've done putting this whole thing together. So keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. And for everybody out there, if you missed any of the interview, we'll be posting it up on the website very shortly. So stay tuned to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want, nothing you